Okay, well then let's do the show. It's my co-chair, my co-host, the co-chair, Mike Hamnett. Say hi, Mike.
Hi, folks.
He's great. Okay. And he's got a new hat, which is really so you have to work a little to
You have to come tomorrow to see it.
Okay, at his left is Derrick Sonoda.
Hey, everybody.
And,
good to be back.
From Hawaii Energy.
Yes.
And at Mike's right is Marc Matsuura.
Hi.
He's from HNEI. I'm going to talk about science today. Whoa. We love science.
Good.
So the first thing I want to mention is that you can tweet us if you like. ThinkTech HI. ThinkTech HI. You can tweet us from anywhere in the world, and we can only assure you that we will see it because our staff will point it out to us. We have a big Twitter feed here in the studio, and we will respond to it to the best we can. No, we respond to it anyway. Okay, and the other thing is that Mike and I have to tell you about a lesser-known secret.
Tomorrow is the 7th annual Hawaii Clean Energy Day, and we've got a great program lined up for you. We'll talk about it this hour.
Yeah, there's two parts to it. One is there are awards to 5 individuals and organizations for transformational efforts in clean energy in Hawaii. 2 of them are here at this table, actually. Whoa. And the second part is we have these 3 panels, one on the utility of the future, one on the grid, which is kind of covered a little bit in your discussion today, Mark, and on LNG. And the reason we picked these 3 is because they're
the big issues right now.
They're the biggest issues, and they've been lingering. They haven't been resolved, and you know, we think they ought to be discussed in detail. So we have kind of a guy who will just, for each one, a fellow who will, or a girl, who will set out the pros on that issue. Somebody will set out the negatives on that issue. Somebody will integrate the 2 and tell us our options. And then we'll actually have a feedback from the audience, which I think is very interesting, hasn't been done before. And that feedback will, go to the press. We'll find out what people are thinking out there. It's like a survey, and we'll make that public. And so if you
That'll
care,
be really interesting.
yeah,
Really interesting.
if you care about these issues, then you can have your chance to speak anywhere in the state, because we're live streaming this everywhere in the state. Just sort of like David Ige's, what do you call it?
Town hall meeting.
Yeah, the statewide conversation before he was elected.
Right.
Speaking of David Ige, he's going to be there.
David is going to be there tomorrow. He's going to present the awards, and he's going to give the keynote talk at the beginning.
Yeah. So this is a very robust program.
Very impressive program.
Yeah.
Great.
With all kinds of new creativities in it, draw people into a real conversation about the most important issues that we could figure out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And a couple of those issues are pretty sort of heated issues. The future of the utility is partly hanging on the merger of Hawaiian Electric Industries and Nextera. The liquefied natural gas issue really kind of sparks a little bit of heat because people feel very strongly about the fact that we don't need another hydrocarbon dependency, and other people see it as a way to relieve the cost of electricity in the state. And then the third one is all related to the rooftop solar and the fact that people couldn't get hooked up to the grid, couldn't get ECO approval to put solar photovoltaics on their roofs because of concerns about safety and about the stability of the grid. And the folks who kind of helped solve that problem are going to be there tomorrow to talk about it.
Speaking of which, just 5 minutes ago, I got an email from Hawaiian Electric, a press release from Peter Rossick there, about some new pilot program they're doing to try to level the playing field on community solar. This will be really interesting now that the bill has been passed and signed. So they're launching right into it without moments to spare. That's really interesting. So,
yeah, and the community solar is sort of an effort on the part of the legislature and the utility to allow people who are not single-family dwelling homeowners to take advantage of both the tax credits as well as the energy savings from solar electricity.
So Hawaiian Electric is launching right into it. This is very quick response.
It is very quick.
Yeah. Okay, well, why don't we begin with, if you will, Derrick,
Yes.
with the negawatt moment, because this is the time where they're all out there, hanging on every word.
They're
We
all
wanna
out
find
there, everybody's rating?
Yeah.
Well, you know, this year for the Clean Energy Day, I know it's the 7th time around, but this time we got award winners. And at Hawaii Energy, we got excited about this because this is the first time you guys are doing this.
Right.
And, you know, to recognize all the champions that have been doing this for years and years, and a lot of people don't know who they are, but they're really acting on the behalf of everyone who's going to be living in the state from the future going on. So to recognize these individuals, and we're very fortunate at Hawaii Energy that one of them from Hawaii Energy, that she got selected. So this is a lovely lady. If you haven't been to a Helen Y. Sharing the Aloha workshop, I recommend you find out where there's one happening in your community. Or better yet, go back a couple weeks, I think it was 2 weeks, to the show and go and see Helen there. And it's on recording. Or you can go to helenY.com and she has it right on her front page. And then you can find out what Sharing of the Aloha is. But just to sum it up, Helen reaches everybody who is not normally part of the energy conversation. And the way she approaches that whole audience is she doesn't use technical terms. She uses very local imagery, very local behaviors to communicate the important messages that they need to understand. And when you listen to her, it's so beautiful the way she does it. And the audience, you watch them, their lights light up in their eyes. They understand what they've been hearing in the media all these years, and they had no clue that they were actually talking about it. I'll give you a small, for example. One of the things that people did not understand is who was a ratepayer. And we've been talking about ratepayers forever, but when you see someone actually realize, I'm a ratepayer, people don't understand that. And Helen goes across and she bridges those gaps, and then she teaches people what a watt is, what a kilowatt is. Nobody knows what a kilowatt is or looks like, but yet that's the thing that they pay every month. And so she brings forth some enlightenment. And when she does this, they are so appreciative. And she has reached over 12,000 people doing small workshops in the community for the last 4 years. And it's about 435, right around there, workshops that she's done. She organized this with community partners. And that's no small feat. You have to draw people in who don't really want to be any place, someplace where they can learn for education, take time away from their families, and learn. And when they do that, you should see the referrals. Because I've heard one of the few gentlemen, and this is on Molokai, this woman is a genius. You should have her do this everywhere. And that's what we've done. We've had her do this everywhere. Once people get it, they really appreciate it. So Sharing the Aloha is an appropriate title, and she is going to be one of the award winners. So if everybody cannot make it to tomorrow's event, please come online and watch it. And the reason why I tell you to do this is it's going to be on your side now to share the Aloha. You know about the energy topics, but I bet you your neighbor, I bet you your relatives, they don't understand it. Be the bridge like Helen is and help them understand the most important topics that they're going to be faced for the rest of their life.
And the fact that they can do stuff to save themselves money.
Yeah.
That's the most important part.
Do something to save their money. But you know what? It makes sense to people once they understand what a kilowatt is.
Right.
Nobody wants to be shamed in Hawaii and say they don't know what a kilowatt hour is. They don't. And I've heard it from school teachers. I heard it from very educated people. I've heard it, lawyers. They don't know what a kilowatt hour is because they've never seen it. You kind of joke with those people. Well, mine's blue at home. What color is yours? And they kind of stare at you because it's not funny to them because they just don't know. But anyway, we're happy that you selected Helen Y. And I'm going to be there tomorrow. Our whole team is going to be out, and we're looking forward to this great event.
Terrific.
You know, Derrick, this points up as a few truisms in all of that about Helen and what she does. One is that somewhere along the line, we detached from the philosophical notion of having clean energy and having an energy initiative from the ordinary people.
Yes,
And
that's right.
there became two conversations. One is among the people who know, professionally or by virtue of something they learned in school, and the other people who simply don't know or didn't know. And this is a coming together that's very significant, because now with Helen and this whole new concept about teaching people what it is, we'll have a state that is better educated at all levels about what we're talking about here in clean energy, and we've needed that. So this has been truly transformational in terms of bringing that information to the public.
And I think the topic is great today with Mark, going to be talking about what's happening on Maui. It really crosses over very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Mark,
gonna,
you were gonna say something?
no, I was going to say that, yeah, as the grid evolves and as these smart grid technologies develop, then the consumer does become a more active participant. So they need to be knowledgeable about, how to utilize energy best and what options there are and how the technologies and options impact them.
Oh, yes.
And the other thing is that, we have a lot of public opinion, in my opinion, that is malformed because it's based on a lack of knowledge.
Yes.
Sound
Okay?
bites.
And, you have people with agendas trying to sell the agenda, advocate for a position, and they're strident and, loud and everything, but the people they're talking to don't even know what a kilowatt hour is. How can they possibly make an informed decision if they're just getting the strident argument? And so this really helps to get good, solid, well-founded, educated public opinion, which is what we need in the state.
Yes, we do.
Get more people in the conversation.
Yeah.
We do.
And that's one of the elements in the Clean Energy Day idea, is that we want to, inform, but we want informed people to give us their opinion.
Right.
So
And
one
it's a
needs the other.
two-way dialogue.
Exactly.
I mean, for the first several years, it was talking heads. It was people talking about energy topics, kind of inside baseball, the insiders who know about it. And then last year, we started using a technology called, not meeting.
Live sift.
Live sift meeting. And it's a technology that allows people to use their smartphones to pose questions to the speakers. And those are sorted, and then after the panels are over, those questions are given to the panelists, and they get a chance to respond.
Yeah.
We also have, we've also used a sort of public, live, on-the-fly public opinion polling, where we've got, questions about, people's views on solar energy or on tax credits or whatever it is. And it allows people to vote on their smartphone, and then the results get posted immediately. And it's kind of really exciting and makes it much more interactive than the old way we did it before.
I'd add this thought, Mike, and that is this can't be just one-shot deal.
No.
We have to have an ongoing iterative process where we're always teaching. Today it's what is a kilowatt hour.
Yes.
There's a lot more that the public needs to know about, because this is a moving target. And as the technology is changing all the time, they have to know a certain amount about that. I mean, if the world sees us as an advanced clean energy state, we have to live up to the reputation. And that means every man, woman, and child, above 4, every man should know what we're talking about here, because we have to adopt this, at the core of our culture. This is really important going forward. If we're really going to do this, we got to know about it.
And the irony of the whole thing is we complain about the high electricity rates and the high cost of gasoline. And those are the two things that are driving us to do these things. And that's why we're in many ways an advantage over places that have cheaper traditional energy.
Yeah. So this whole thing about meeting SIFT and, about seeking the views of the viewing public and about pushing for a statewide conversation, to me, that's the new model. And it's not just tomorrow, it's on and on, it's forever. And we all have to push that so that the public is completely informed. And that gets back to ThinkTech. That's what we want to push. And that's why you're right to say that people can come on ThinkTech.
Yes.
And they can look up Helen Y, and they can see the discussion that we had with her, 3 weeks ago. And she was not only brilliant, but she was really affable. She's the kind of person, you do love, because you know that she's pure as the driven snow, and she wants to do right by the common good. And it's people like that we have to, iconize so that they become our leaders, in effect.
So I'm going to challenge everybody who's watching this show. If this situation has happened to you in the past, where you get a phone call from a relative, how do you fix the computer? I'm trying to do this. And then you get frustrated in the conversation because you don't know how to explain it to your relative of what they need to do. Well, that's exactly what Helen attacks every day when she shares the Aloha. She takes a very complicated subject and she breaks it down so people can take action. So From Hawaii Energy, that's what we have to do. We have to find energy savings. But before we can do that, we have to have a common language that we can communicate with to give the reason why. Everybody wants to help. They first have to understand the reason why. And the next step is how. And after that, what we found is people want to know that they're winning. So we found that's very important. You have to have a feedback mechanism.
Measures.
Right, measures. So we do a contest, everything else, but everybody wants to know, like, how am I doing in the contest? And that's an important feedback loop that, Helen has helped us bridge, and we got some other people. But please, everybody, come out tomorrow. This is the kind of conversation that we need to have more often. And having Helen there is the very first step at bringing all the people who are not part of the energy conversation into the dialogue. And I think we could all benefit from that.
Yeah.
All benefits.
And before the break, I want to add one more thought. I spent the July 4th weekend in Hawaii, in North Kohala. And it told me yet again, it reminded me yet that there's a lot of worlds out there in our state that we don't think about.
We don't know
much.
about it.
We don't know about it. In Maui, and we talk about Maui in a little while, we'll know more about Maui. But the point is that there's huge pockets of really sweet people that form the backbone of the state. And we have to talk with them. We have to communicate with them. We have to teach them about. We have to bring them into this energy process. They're so important in the process, and we have to reach out to them. And that's what she does.
She does.
That's
How many of you have heard about Keanai? Have you been to Keanai? No. I've never been to
beautiful
Keanai.
places on earth.
Yes, in Maui.
Yeah.
And when I found out Helen was going to go there, I said, "Where's Keanai?" She goes, "It's Maui. It's on the way to Hana. It's off the roadside." And I really? And she got invited to go there. She has some relationships there. And she blessed that community. The community was so happy to have her. They set up a tent outside because they didn't have facilities. And the whole community was there under a tent listening to Helen, and they have nice pictures and everything. But we repeat that every single island that we go to. On Lanai, she got photographs of right in the Central Park, right under the big trees. They would all sit with their chairs and they would listen to her. This is what we need to do to get that education level, not to make them smart, is to make them understand the language, so we can have great conversations and feedback. How is this impacting you? What do you see this as your future? How are you going to handle all of these changes? And this is why the Smart Grid project really is going to be everybody's future.
Tell her you can't forget Hawaii. She's got to go to Hawaii.
Hawaii? No, she's been there.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
She's been to Hawaii.
She was there before you.
Yeah, she's been to Hawaii. She loves Hawaii, and they always ask her to come back.
Okay, they're really sweet people. Okay, we'll take a short break. My left is Marc Matsuura, and to his left, Mike Hamnett, and to his left, Derrick Sonoda. We're talking about smart grid advancing, smart grid advancing, which is actually, I'm sorry to say, the main part of our show. And we get, sorry to say, they also won an award. We'll be right back after this break. We'll get right into it, okay? Wait one.
Hi, I'm Ethan Allen. I host Likeable Science on ThinkTech Hawaii. And I do this because I care about science literacy in Hawaii. I want to spread the understanding that science is a vital and interesting part of everyone's life. I want to make sure the broadest possible spectrum of people understand the beauty and the value of science and realize that science plays out each and every day of their lives. I want you to understand that science is fun. So we bring onto this show each week guests who are scientists, from astronomers to zoologists, and we talk about what they do and how they do it. But most importantly, we talk about why you should care about their work, why you should see that their work has value and impact on your life. So I hope you'll join us Fridays, 1 p.m. here on ThinkTech Hawaii. You can watch us via live stream. You can watch us recorded on Olelo, and you can see us each week. We hope you'll join us.
Aloha, my name is Josh Green. I'm a senator from the Big Island. I work in the ER there. But on Tuesday afternoons, I get to come and spend 45 minutes to an hour with Jay Fidell and the ThinkTech staff. They're terrific professionals. They help us to bring some of the leading cutting-edge topics here across our state to you. So you can join us at our show on healthcare in Hawaii to talk with leaders from across all the spectrum of health in our state, or you can join us for any other show where we talk about economic development or tourism or some really eclectic programs too. So really, we love to see you here on our show. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for supporting us.
It is. all
This is
these
great,
years.
it's like everything's coming together, you know, we get, we have such fun on this program. So let's turn to you, Mark. Marc
Okay.
Matsuura of HNEI. What does that stand for?
Hawaii Natural Energy Institute. It's an institute under the SOIST College under the University of Manila.
The School of Ocean and Earth Science and Technology.
Correct.
It's a
Yeah,
very
we used to call it
important part
Earth,
of the
Wind, and
school.
Fire, but Barry and Raleigh can't.
That is true.
So what do they do down there?
Well, we focus on renewable energy issues, and HNEI has been in existence since the 70s with the first oil.
This is the 1970s.
Right,
Yeah.
1970s, right?
73.
Yeah. So their mandate is to help the state forward its renewable energy
A lot of research.
goals, research. So up until now, it's been a lot of basic research because that's what was needed. You know, basic research in photovoltaic panels, research in biofuels, biomass, hydrogen. So kind of the resource side of things. You know, how do we best utilize the resource to generate energy? But recently, HNEI has developed what we're calling the JumpStart Maui. It's
This is one of probably a dozen major projects you're working on.
yeah, and this is, it's not so much a project, but a group of people, which I am one of them, but it's primarily made up of ex-utility guys. So I used to work at Hawaiian Electric for 20 years,
I
and
think everybody did.
yeah, at one point or
I did too.
Yeah, yeah, delicious.
Oh, there you go.
So, but
How
then
about you, Mike?
No.
Okay, well,
that's okay.
two and two, fair and fair.
But we formed this group to focus on how do we integrate all of these basic technologies or renewable technologies together and integrate them into the grid. Right? How is the best technologies for that? And that's where the smart grid, microgrid kinds of things, those kinds of projects are things that we focus on and develop.
So are you on the technical side, the scientific side?
Yeah. So we formulate the projects and we participate in projects like the JumpStart Maui Project, which is the project it's a partnership between U.S. and Japan and also Hawaii
Hitachi.
and Okinawa, which involves Hitachi and as the main technology company for that project.
Yeah, this has been exciting for a long time, actually.
Yeah, it's been in formulation since like 2010 with the basic concepts and getting funding from the Japanese government through the Ministry of Economy and Trade and Industry. So they invested about almost $30 million in that project from Japan funding, and there was also some funding from the DOE on Department of Energy for analysis and research supporting that project.
All in order to learn more about smart grid
Right.
technology,
Yeah.
devices, connectivity, all that.
Yeah, with the focus of how do we best integrate more renewable energy and address the technical issues and cost issues of the grid. How to make the grid more efficient and more renewable.
So is the work being done here or on Maui?
It is on Maui. So the
So are
project.
you living on here, Oahu or Maui?
I live here.
But
so
you get a lot of travel.
I get to fly there once in a while. But yeah, so our role is kind of a advisory role in that project. So we review the results and review the plans and we provide comment and how we think we might improve things based on our utility background and technical knowledge that we have and other resources in the institute. So it's finally come to the point, like you said, it's an exciting time where all that planning and work and design has been done, and it's getting to the point where equipment has been installed. We've got 40 volunteers on Maui that have technology inserted into their homes where we're monitoring different loads, and we have control over vehicle charging and some like water heater loads, and we're monitoring the grid in detail. So things are happening where now we can actually start to exercise things.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, 2010 sounds about right for my radar, because I heard about it, I read about it, but there was no detail. And,
No, at that time it was just conceptual, that we wanted to do
Yeah.
a project focused on renewables.
And so, I mean, you all had the idea that Hitachi was bringing this black box kind of technology, and it was world class, and they had decided to bypass Oahu completely And go straight to Maui for some reason. I'm
there-
not
there's
sure
a
why
reason.
Maui.
There is
They
a
heard
reason.
Maui no Ko'oi too.
Something
Yeah.
about that.
I
yeah.
thought it was a golf course.
So sorry.
So you know, there began this like this under the hood kind of development going on in Maui that we didn't know about, and I think we've all waited, Mark, for this day, for this show,
All
for
right.
this Wednesday,
Okay.
and for the awards tomorrow.
Right.
We've waited to hear about what was going on with the high tech equipment, because I think we've all come to believe, and maybe it's the media, maybe it's just the way things work, is that the salvation here, in terms of efficiency, is going to be in smart grid devices. And that, you know, a lot of the problems we've seen in connectivity will be resolved somehow, and the world will be a better place because of smart grid. But we haven't actually seen them in play. I think that Kauai had some stuff going on.
They've got smart meters
They
deployed.
have smart meters, but we don't have them in Oahu.
Not yet.
There are pilot projects going on now with Hawaiian Electric.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's some pilot here and then on Maui where we had, in the same area as the JumpStart Maui project, we had a smart grid demonstration there with smart meter deployment, very small pilots.
Okay, so this is the implementation of that notion of smart grid through equipment that is being provided by Hitachi. I guess it's not Hitachi Hawaii, it's Hitachi Limited. It's the
Japan.
mothership company out of Japan.
Right.
And they are actually bringing these black boxes in now and in a relatively, well, I guess it's a substantial pilot program. They're
Yeah,
actually
big
installing them, big pilot program. They're installing them in the homes of volunteers. So from the technical point of view, what can this tell us that we need to know before we just do it everywhere? Because I'm waiting for that, see? And I know we're all waiting for that, right? Is somebody come to your door one day and say,
I've got a
my
smart
name
grid for
is
you."
Joe Hitachi, and I'm gonna fix your house.
Right. So kind of maybe at a higher level for, you know, smart grid is a very general term, but the reason why it's important is because your classical power system of the past was kind of, you know, generate from here and the power flows out and it's pretty predictable. You know, people come home at night, turn on their lights, you know what the load's going to be. During the day, it's pretty stable. But now that things are being installed at the edge of the grid that's producing energy, people are, you know, electric vehicles are using energy in a different way, so there's a lot more dynamics going on at the edge of the grid, where right now there's no visibility. Nobody knows what's going on. Through modeling and things, you can kind of guess as to what the problems might be, but you don't really know.
The explosion of rooftop solar and the introduction of wind farms is really kind of changed the game entirely. Because
Right.
before it was all fossil fuels, big boilers, generate firm power, and that's it.
Yeah.
As the price has gone up and we started to look toward renewables, we've got grid instability problems because the sun doesn't shine all the time, the wind doesn't blow all the time.
It's a good thing that they're renewable, wind and solar, but the bad thing, it's not predictable. Like
Right.
fossil fuels, it's you know, fossil fuels, but it's predictable and controllable. So you introduce a lot more uncertainty, which then means you need more information to figure out how best to run your grid.
And it's coming from different directions.
Right.
You know, in the past, I think you mentioned a minute ago, in the past, it was all being pushed
Going
out.
that way. Right.
So now it's not that anymore, it's different. It's coming in, and it's coming in at different points with different characteristics. And it means that at every point, there has to be some smart thing,
Yeah.
figuring out how much to take and when to take and all this complicated
So
stuff.
there's voltage issues that you need to regulate. You know, there's protection issues where to make sure if a line falls on the ground that everything works properly to clear that line, de-energize it, keep everything safe, and you don't, you know, misoperate and open the wrong breaker because the power is flowing differently, things like that.
I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad that you're with HNEI. I'm so glad that you had experience at Hawaiian Electric, because I think now we're going to have some cross-examination from these other two guys over here.
So I guess maybe I can give a high-level maybe description, right?
But we can do
what's
that after the
happening
break.
After the break.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, watch this.
Aloha, my name is PJ and I'm the host of Hawaii Sports Update. I am very interested in local sports and that's why I host the Hawaii Sports Update show. I bring in guests from Hawaii. I bring in guests from UH. I bring in guests from the community. I bring in big names. I bring in small names. I bring in all names that are community related and doing positive things, sports related in the community. Come join me every Tuesday at 1 p.m. here on Hawaii Sports Update. You can also join me on my golf tournament, the first annual PJ Sports Radio Show golf tournament. It's going to be held at Coral Creek. For any information, go to ThinkTech Hawaii INC and friend us. The PayPal and a summary of the event will be right there available for you. And don't forget to tweet us.
Hi, I'm your host on ThinkTech Asia, Bill Sharp. I look forward to you joining us each Monday between 4 and 5 o'clock when we film right here in our studio in downtown Honolulu. The show, ThinkTech Asia, focuses on contemporary events in Asia. And by Asia, we mean anything from Hawaii, south to Australia and New Zealand, west to Pakistan, and as far north as the Russian Far East. Clearly, this is one of the most economically dynamic centers of the world, and we bring you up to date on what's going on in a whole host of countries in this very vital region. We look forward to seeing you. Aloha.
We came back.
Hey, it worked.
Okay, it's Marc Matsuura, Mike Hamnett, and Derrick Sonoda. And we have a tweet from Mark Ward. This rolls back to your earlier discussion, Derrick. He says, 2-minute energy education segments by Helen Y, would be a great addition to programming. I guess he means ThinkTech programming. Energy efficiency is your cornerstone. Thank you, Mark. That's a great idea.
It is. We talked a little bit about having Helen come in and doing those small tidbits.
She could come around, on a regular basis and give some of her special. She could define kilowatt hour for us.
You got so many listeners and everybody else participating. We're going to see a whole bunch of people tomorrow. I would challenge all of them to come up with ways to save energy more than Helen can say. Because most people can't come up past 6 ways to save electricity without spending money. Helen can do almost under 100.
Beat Helen.
Ways to save electricity without spending money, and that's what people need to learn.
Yeah.
Just those small things to get empowered.
Yeah.
But how come I'm talking again?
No, we give you plenty of rope, actually.
Okay.
Okay, so before the break, just before the break, or at the break, we were talking about trying to get to Mark to give us a kind of précis on exactly how this works.
Yeah, so maybe a quick overview of the technology. So there is still a central control system on Maui, right, that looks at the system-wide issues, right, as a whole.
The whole distribution
The whole
system.
transmission, distribution, generation, everything, right? So, but what they don't have is information at the edge of the grid. So Hitachi is putting in control systems and monitoring systems at the edge of the grid. There's a can on a pole usually by your house or on the ground that's a transformer that then feeds energy to your house. So at that point, they're putting in some data gathering information equipment that equipment also then talks to control systems in the house. So they can control the water heater, they can control electric vehicle charging if they need to. If there's any issues locally at the edge of the grid, that can handle that. But then it also talks back to the main computer at the central station saying, there's no issues here. I've got these resources that I don't need for local issues. You can use them if there's any system level issues. So it's kind of that hierarchy of control and distributed control that they're putting together. And in addition to that, they're also, which has been a big success, is quick chargers for electric vehicles. So these are charging stations that you can charge your car in 10, 20 minutes, depending how empty your car is. But that's taken a lot of the anxiety right out of driving and you running out of charge.
Yes.
Right? Which I think we were talking about.
Yes.
There's a lot of I don't want to get an EV because I don't want to be in that situation.
Yeah, what about using the cars as batteries?
Yes. So
is that part of this program?
That is. So the first phase is trying to use at the central station side of things, looking at the wind energy, solar energy. If there's excess energy where the wind and solar are producing more than the grid can actually use, the system can talk to actually the Nissan Operations Center and to tell the cars in Maui, that's as part of this project to charge at this time at night, maybe when there's more wind than we can use. So there's charging control, and if there's any local issues, they can disconnect charging. If there's an overload on a transformer or something like that, they can stop charging. But then the next phase of the project is the two-way vehicle charging and discharging. So they're going to be putting equipment at the home where you can charge, but then if there's an issue on the grid, wind dies down suddenly, solar dies down suddenly, we need more energy. Instead of firing up a generator, they can say, I want the EVs to
Draw in the batteries, yeah.
export a little while we ride through this, and hopefully it'll come back. And if it doesn't, then they can start up a generator.
You know, the recent, that flight by the Solar Impulse,
Yeah.
and the damage that they incurred
batteries, yeah.
The
over this
overheating.
long, overheating, I mean, teaches us a bunch of things.
Mm-hmm.
We can't afford overheating.
Right.
We have to have smart controls to avoid that. Maybe they can learn something from what we're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
They stopped in the right place, you know.
Yeah, it's a
But I know all of this beginning to come together with a kind of global conversation about it that emanates from experience right here at home.
Right, so that's part of what we're interested too in this project is, and Hitachi of course is interested in developing this technology, proving it out, showing the benefits, because there's thousands of islands in the Pacific that are fossil fuel dependent and have high costs of energy, and a lot of them are very much disadvantaged economically than we are. So their energy costs are huge, and you know, a lot of times people just don't use energy because they can't afford it.
You mentioned, Mark, that the whole project so far, and maybe I have the characterization of the number wrong, but you said $30 million. That seems like peanuts, sorry. Is that the total amount invested so far?
54 million.
That is the funding from the Japanese government. So
Oh, from the government? Oh, not Hitachi itself?
Hitachi, Hitachi may be investing their own to support it as well, I'm not sure, but the public money is that $30 million.
Okay. State of Hawaii have any money into this?
I don't think money-wise, but they've provided support in permitting and advice and just support in general of the project.
Well, and HNEI is participating too, so I mean.
You're right.
So there's some money
From the
coming in for that.
university.
So-
You know, but it strikes me that you can go out with, was it 200 volunteers?
Well, yeah, 200 EV volunteers, electric vehicle
Oh, okay, and homes?
volunteers, and homes is 40.
40 plus 200%. You can go out and you can outfit them with smart devices and all that. But the smart devices have to be adapted to what you're learning every day, right? The computers have to be programmed and reprogrammed to what you're learning every day. So it's an ongoing process, and at the end of the day, the device that you ultimately adopt for this kind of program will be very different from well, I shouldn't say very different, but somewhat different.
It's development work, right? So
Yeah.
you like I said, prototyping, and so your prototype devices are going to be much more expensive than your commercial production.
So you want to whisper, you don't have to talk loud, but you want to whisper what you think it's going to cost at the end of the day to outfit a given house.
Oh, house by house? Yeah, I don't have the
That's
numbers.
a high number.
Yeah.
Okay. And how about the device that you put on a car?
The device is it's actually the charging station.
So that doesn't go on the car?
No.
It's remote.
Yeah, so the communications and control is already in.
This is all systemic stuff, then, system stuff.
Yeah. So the charging station is, in the first phase, is just your regular charging station. So it's about $5,000. So with installation and all that. The other one is going to be the two-way one. Is again a prototype type device that Hitachi's developing for that. So yeah, it's R&D development prototype type cost.
Did you guys want to ask Mark where this is all going?
You were doing such a great job, we didn't have a chance. But I did have a question.
Okay.
I did have a question. If you had to explain this to non-technical people.
Oh, you want me to be Helen?
You want me to be Helen for a little bit, and you put your aunties and your uncles in front of you at one of the holiday parties, and they ask you, you know, we didn't have to do this all these decades of living in Hawaii. Why is it so important now so that you put all this stuff that you're doing at work, in around all that, why is it important? What will happen if you don't do it? And what's going to happen to the households? How would you explain it to those aunties and uncles?
Okay.
And I know you have them just like my family.
Okay, yeah, so there's, I think maybe two issues. So the first issue we kind of talked about is if the state wants to go to the level of renewable energy that it's planning to go, there's issues that are then going to be presented that are different from how we were in the past. Right? So in the past, we didn't have.
Are these money issues? Are these
are
bad
technical
things, fires, explosions?
Well, there's maybe technical issues that could be problems, but there's also then the other thing that I was going to talk about is now it provides opportunities for operating the grid maybe in a better way. So now, like for example, if you're in the old model where you're generating electricity and you're pushing it through wires out to the loads, to push it through the wires, there's losses that get involved. So you lose some energy in that transmission. So if you can better utilize utilize distributed generation,
So
one
think
of those
about Auntie now.
benefits.
Auntie's kind of phasing on you.
Phasing, no,
so-
we need Helen.
Yes.
So if we don't have to push power that much through the wires and we could generate power at the home, which is what the PV does, that's an opportunity to avoid those losses and save the energy for the whole community. And better yet, if then you can target, resources and control EVs and other things in areas that maybe have more power needs or things, then you can optimize the whole system and make it even more efficient.
The other thing that changed is just the cost of electricity.
Yes.
I mean, it's
The cost of electricity has gone up a lot.
Yeah.
So there's kind of a confluence of the events, I guess, is the renewable energy technologies have developed to a point where they're more affordable. And the information technology and iPhones and communications, all those things, again, have also developed to a point where it's much more affordable.
But you know what? It's more than just affordability. It's the whole system. So it's going to change the whole system, the way the grid works. When it settles down and it's good enough to be implemented everywhere in the state, it's going to have a huge effect. And that means, what does that mean? What does that changes in the regulatory structure?
Yep.
I know we're going to be in that up to our hips when this starts getting rolled out.
So techie guys like me to play with the wires and controls and things like that. But that's almost the easy part. I mean, it's making technology work. You have to have the right skill set and do it. But then you have to say, okay, it's working, right? So we need policies to put in place to enable it and make it, make it something that's attractive to people. Like, if you put this in and you allow us to control a load, there's a rate structure that would enable you to want to do that.
It'll be different.
Right. So somebody's got to figure that out, and then how do you make that, and then explain it to people so that they take advantage of it and make it fair for everybody, and so that then gets to another policy.
Yeah, the whole
issues,
fairness
right?
issue is one
Yeah.
that's partly driving the flight from the grid. Because people are saying, well,
Part of that.
why should my tax dollars go to put photovoltaics on your roof so that you can save money on your electricity bill?
Yeah, so I don't own my roof. That's so I'm in the part of
I am too.
So right, so I'm in the community solar. Maybe we can take advantage of that. But yeah, so it's like solar. You make policy decisions to incentivize things like solar, and then that goes through a path. But then you have to make changes as technology and adoption and things come to a point. Then you have to kind of adjust your.
So
your
when
policies.
is Mr. Joe Hitachi going to be knocking at my door? When is all this going to happen, Mark?
Let's see.
Statewide.
Statewide. Well, the project right now is scheduled to run through 2016. So the first phase, the equipment's been installed. They're gathering data. They're exercising. So they're running that part. So the phase 2 part is going to be they're going to have to do some more volunteer recruitment, get more people involved in the project. From 200 vehicles that are in the first phase, they want to go to 500 electric vehicles in the second phase. And then collect data through the 2016 timeframe. So once they do that, then, so it's going to be a number of years until they commercialize the products and get it so that it's a commodity type of product where you can sell it to.
So I hope you're not sleeping too much.
I'll get on it.
Get on it, man. Okay, but the other thing is, it sounds like it's going far enough to certainly justify the Transformational Award. And Hitachi and its partners in Maui and the JumpStart Maui program are getting an award too, just like Helen Y and Hawaii Energy are getting an award tomorrow in the afternoon, less than 24 hours from today. So congratulations to you both. Congratulations, Derrick.
Oh, no, thank you. Thank you
Congratulations,
to you
Marc.
guys for doing such a great job all these years.
Well, I think, we gotta step out and find these special transformational processes and recognize them. And that's the way we recognize leadership, and that's the way we encourage people to do the kinds of things that you've been doing. So thank you for doing those things.
Yes, thank you.
Congratulations to you for these awards.
Thank you. Looking forward to tomorrow, everybody. Be there.
Mike, you close.
Come to Hawaii Clean Energy Day tomorrow, Lanakila Y on Richard Street. It'll also be on the web, live streaming, and the 3 panels that we talked about, plus the Transformational Energy Awards.
All right.
Starts at 11 tomorrow.
And then goes till 4:30. There's a day for you. Learn a lot.
Great venue.
It'll be interesting.
Thank you, Mike Hamnett, my co-chair tonight, my co-host tonight, and the co-chair of the Hawaii Energy Policy Forum, Derrick Sonoda of Hawaii Energy, and Marc Matsuura of HNEI, all doing great work.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
So much.
No, thank you to you guys.
Aloha.